Hello everybody, Geek Etiquette here with my very first tutorial on how to get Tomb Raider 1 on the PC for Steam in particular to run with the music. So as you may or may not know, if you do own a copy of Tomb Raider on Steam, it doesn't have the actual the PlayStation 1 music or the music triggers, it just has ambient sounds. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the easiest way to get that to run. It is pretty simple, but if you're kind of new to this stuff, then it can seem a little bit complicated. So this is the guide, which I highly recommend, and because there has been an update to the installer, this link does not work. And the update, makes it even easier than this, so it looks a little bit daunting. I'll put all the links in the description to the guides and where you can get the files, etc. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to find where this link would be. So this is actually on tombraiderforums.com. As I say, all the links will be in the description, and this is the version of the installer that you want. So you got Tomb Raider 1 installed on Steam. Okay, that's fine, so we'll leave that there for now. I've already downloaded this, so I don't need to do that again. I'll just keep that there for the time being. I have a folder here just so I can go to stuff. So this is the installer that you want to use, and the window went over there. And so just simply run the installer as you would with anything. What I did is I tested this a couple of times, click run as well, it's perfectly safe. I did this a couple of times to make sure that it worked. Okay, so we're essentially reinstalling the game on top of the Steam version. So it's going to install to default by C, so put it wherever you want. I strongly recommend to keep it there. And there we go, Tomb Raider and Unfinished Business. Okay. So here you definitely want to install Nglide, and I check set windowed mode. If you don't already have it, install Joy-to-Key. That also helps with using a controller with the game. It's a little bit finicky. So we go to install, and what we then need to do is we need to copy a few files over. Now the brilliant thing about doing this with the Steam version is that if anything goes wrong or if it doesn't run correctly when you try and open it, the great thing is you can verify integrity of game cache, which essentially removes any sort of files you've changed or altered that may be missing or corrupted or whatever, and Steam automatically replaces them with the original files. So it essentially resets your installation, which is a handy little tool when you're doing things like this. Okay, so you want to run this and accept, next, let that do its thing as well. I decided to do this because I know a few friends of mine have recently got these games back, and a lot of them, like myself, miss the music on the PC version, and so there isn't actually a tutorial that I've seen for this, and I managed to get it running fine. The same with Unfinished Business. 2, 3 and 4 are very, very finicky, so I'm working my way through that as well. Okay, so Nglide, this is again a key thing for 3DFX games. Okay, so that's completed. Just exit that for now. Okay, shortcuts, so blah blah blah, finish. Right, so we're done with that. Okay, so we have the shortcuts there, which I don't actually need, so I'm going to delete those because things. So what we need to do is we need to go to the Steam installation and also open the newly created Tomb Raider. So again, I've already got the majority of this open already. So this is where my Steam installation is. Now, if you don't know how to get here, the easiest way is to right click on Tomb Raider in Steam, Properties, and the window will pop up on the other one. There we go. And then the local files tab, browse local files, and it will open up straight here. So this is where it's installed. Okay, so now what we want to do is we need to find the Tomb Raider installation that we've just done, which is on C and Tomb Raider. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to copy certain files. So look for tombeng.bin and tombeng.cue, and we copy these. Don't delete them, just copy. Right click and copy, or Control C. And this, the main Tomb Raider folder, the first folder, right click there and paste. Now you'll get this prompt where it will say, oh, there's already a file with this name. We want to copy and replace. Okay, so now the next step, I believe, is in the Steam Tomb Raider folder, delete the file game.dat. Okay, so in here, this file here, we can delete it. Again, if you're worried about doing this, don't worry. If you're worried, don't worry. Just verify integrity of game cache if you're not confident. Now we deleted that, and what we need to do is this file here that we just copied over, the .q file, you need to rename this. And you need to rename that to game.dat, if I remember correctly. There we go. Yes, this step here, game, type .dat. And it will say if you change the file extension, it may become unusable, but that's fine. We want to change it, so yes. Okay, so that's that step. Now, we need to copy this .exe here. So copy, and then you go to this folder here. This is the, again, back in the Steam installation. So you go into the Tomb Raid folder. Okay, and you'll find that there's tomb.exe. What we're going to do is we're going to copy, paste even. Wow, you can tell this is my first tutorial. So now we have this in here, okay? Now what we want to do is delete this. And what we just copied, we want to rename that to tomb.exe. Okay. And that is as simple as that. Now, what I also will do is I'll tell you how to set it so it opens in windowed mode. So what you do is, let me find the file. Okay, in the Steam folder where it says DOSBox tr.conf or config, if it's a file, if it shows the icon like that, what you do is you just simply open with Notepad and then you'll be able to configure. So this is what this looks like, and it's all the configurations for DOSBox, and it's this one here we want to change the value. So initially on first install it will say true. We want to change that to false so it doesn't open in full screen. Okay, so I can close that because I've already done that. Right, so let's minimize that, and let's minimize that, and let's close that. So now when I click on this, it'll not only open in a windowed mode but also the graphics. As you can see, the core design it won't have those scan lines because that installation has a patch on it which fixes everything. It's fantastic and so much easier, and again there's none of those horrible scan lines, so the graphics are tons better. Okay, so now what we'll do is we will go to a new game, and I'll show you again. This cutscene is perfectly fine. Maybe a little bit jittery because I'm recording at the same time. It gets a little bit funny with OBS, honestly. Okay, So you can hear the ambient sounds playing as normal. That's great, it all runs fine. So I'm going to get to the part where the first music trigger actually is, which is not that far into it. It's at the first lever that you come to. So I'm going to skip obviously a lot of stuff. Yes, I know, I've got to go there. Whoops. Playing with mouse and keyboard, playing with keyboard rather, is not as easy because I'm used to playing with a controller. So okay, so we get rid of these bats just for the lols. Sweet. And jump, because that's what the speedrunners do, is they just jump everywhere and not bump their head. Save the frames. Right, so go down here and down over here, down here, ba-dum, ba-dum. Let's go to the first lever here, and then music cue. So there you go, it is as simple as that. The music's working, the graphics, or the cutscenes rather, have been updated so they don't have those horrible scan lines. And that is that for the tutorial. Everything works fan-dabby-dozy. Okay, so I'm going to exit to title, and I'm going to exit that. Boom. Now, I will probably do a separate tutorial to get Unfinished Business working and show you how to do that. But in the meantime, that is how we get the music running on Tomb Raider 1 for Steam or PC. I believe this also works for the GoG version, or even just a standard CD installation if you do have the original disc. But there you go. I hope this tutorial helped you. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the first one, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you awesome chums in the next video. Bye!